Hey guys, welcome or welcome back. Thanks so much for joining me. Today we are going to look at a reasonably quick method of retouching skin. So if you're new here, hi, I'm Jess, I'm a portrait photographer and I do weekly YouTube videos. So if you haven't already, go ahead and press the subscribe button and click the bell icon. The bell icon will give you a notification every single time I upload a video. I upload every weekend usually, sometimes maybe more than that if I feel like it. This image that we're working on today is just a test shot which I took of Dan. Dan, this bloke here is my husband. So it's a bit strange to just kind of be focusing so closely in on his pores, on his face. But here we are. So what we want to do when we open an image like this, where we've got, skin, I'm all for the method basically of not destroying all of the texture, but we can see over here on Dan that Dan has got some blemishes. Now, these blemishes are reasonably easy to see. However, it's not always like that. And there is a reasonably quick way to go ahead and get a handle of that. So this group here is just my actual edit for the final image. So I'm just going to work kind of below that in my layer stack. If you're brand new to Photoshop, then I'm going to go through this reasonably quickly. Actually, no, I'm going to go through this quite slowly, so I wouldn't really worry about it. Okay, so we have our background layer. This is the background layer. Now, if you know me, we always duplicate the background layer. So we go for a Command J. If I say Command and you're on a Windows, press Control. So we go for a Command J to duplicate that background copy. This then becomes our kind of background copy. Now, what I need to do is basically find a way of seeing all of the imperfections really, really easily. And I tend to do this in 2 steps, but I will usually go ahead and add an adjustment layer of a black and white. And with a black and white adjustment layer opened, the first adjustment that I do is I pull the yellow all the way to the left. So pulling the yellow all the way to the left shows up any obvious things that don't fit. Usually this works for most skin tones. So you can see by pulling the yellow all the way to the left there that we've got some blemishes that really stick out like a sore thumb, and that's great. That means that we can go ahead and handle those. How are we going to handle them? Well, the best way that I've found, to be honest, is to use a new layer and work on that, but you can, if you want to, just go ahead and edit straight onto this background copy. I'm going to go ahead and follow my normal process, which would be to create a new layer. And you'll note that this layer is sandwiched now between the background copy and the black and white layer. So it's between those 2 layers. If yours isn't, and yours is like here, put it between the 2. So you've got black and white on top of the blank layer, which is on top of the image layer. Now this blank layer has got nothing on it, but we're going to retouch through it. So anything that's here or below is going to basically ignore what's happening above. So it just sees life as this and below. We can see this adjustment that's been placed over the top of it, and that's the important thing. So the order is important. Then what we're going to go ahead and do is grab our healing brush tool. You can use really any retouching tool that you'd like. I personally prefer to use the healing brush tool, and I use a sampled source. I don't have it aligned, and I want to specifically sample the current and below. So you might have a few other options here. Current layer, you're going to be pulling empty pixels because the current layer is empty. Current and below, what that's going to do for us is it's basically going to sample this layer and the layer below. If we were going to do all layers, then that's fine, but you're also going to be pulling things from other layers and we'd rather not. So current and below tends to work best. With that done, then all that's left, let me just hide that. Then all that's left to do is to go ahead and take a sample. You can use a stylus and a tablet if you want to, or you can go ahead and use just a mouse. I want to hold down the Option key. If you're on a Windows, that's Alt, and take a sample of some skin. I'm then going to just go and just in a little circle over the blemishes. So blemish is a loose term here, but what we're looking for is any irregularity. So here we've got some bizarre little irregularity here, so we're going to go ahead and just cover that over. And we just want to keep going through little clicks, little retouches. If we want to continue a wrinkle on, continue the wrinkle on. And we want to just go ahead and get some level of smoothing happening. So I'm going to literally just focus on the biggest ones for now, because There's no reason really to go through and do all of these little freckles, and I like having the freckles, so I'm going to keep them, but I'm going for anything that is super distracting. Then, if you're happy and you've kind of gone through and taken out your main blemishes, this looks like we're done, right? But we're not, and I know we're not, because I know that there were blemishes over here somewhere. Now, it looks like there's potentially one here, but it's not super clear. And I know that there was some on the nose, but again, it's not clear. And that's because in our black and white layer, if you just click on that, we're pulling the yellows to the left. Now, look what happens if we put the yellows back and then pull the reds down. So the reds are showing us a whole new set of that. I mean, that's kind of creepy, I'm not going to lie. The reds are showing us a whole new set of different blemishes that didn't show up. So let's just focus on this here. That's really creepy. Focus on this right here, okay? And if we put that back to normal, you can barely see it. If we pull it down on the yellow, it just looks like skin texture. It just looks like a freckle, right? But when we pull the red down, it's super, super obvious. So then with our red channel kind of selected and highlighted, we want to go through and just repeat the process. I'm obviously talking through this quite slowly, so it would not usually take this long, but you want to just go through and whiz out any major big black dots which come up on the skin, and you'll have to play with the different sliders with different skin tones, but usually doing this double method does tend to work for most situations. Now I'm getting a bit scared of Dan and Dan's face because this is a bit creepy. I shouldn't really say that, should I, about my own husband? But hey ho, here we are. So when we have gone ahead and just retouched out all of those major blemishes, I mean, there's loads. You could go to town and carry on, but we're just going to do a little cleanup. So I'm quite happy with this as it stands. So let's turn that off. And we've still got all of the texture in his skin. So we've still got all of this texture, right? But we've hidden all of those blemishes. You see? So even those little ones that were right in this hairline over here, these bad boys, they're all hidden. All of it is hidden. The eyebrow is repaired. We had some on the nose here. These guys are all hidden. And you can literally just go as far as you want to with your retouching using this method. So, I know he's got shiny forehead, my bad, but that hopefully is a helpful little trick. It doesn't take long at all, I promise you. And when you're done, you can just bin off by backspacing twice your black and white layer. And then it's up to you whether you merge this layer down immediately or leave it or group it or do whatever you want to do. You can just right click and merge down, and what that will do is it just sandwiches that in. This is now your retouched layer that you can go forward and continue your edit with. And that there is the final piece. So a lot of work just in there on the eyes, but very little other work, to be honest, on the skin. And yeah, I hope that that gives you a pretty good little bit of a view into quick skin retouching. If this video has been helpful for you, please do let me know. I'm here to help and do other bizarre things. We usually shoot dogs, but not all the time. And I'll see you all again really, really, really soon.